Days like this. It was November in 1994 that we set foot in Kathmandu on our visit to the top of the world. We, my wife Lita, daughter Etta and brother Trevor had arrived on a visit to Nepal and India. Nepal, a land apart, a place known for many things. For example, it's home to 8 of the world's highest peaks, including the highest, Mount Everest. And of course it's home for the Gurkha regiments. And our first impressions? Well, poverty. It is one of the world's poorest countries. The people we saw as we travelled about had few resources and no luxuries. We saw scenes I imagine hadn't changed much in centuries. In Nepal there is evidence of religion absolutely everywhere. Hinduism and Buddhism shape everyday life. There are shrines to Hindu gods or Buddha everywhere you go. Kathmandu is now home to the Tibetan Buddhists and has been since China conquered Tibet. One of the most unusual sights we encountered was at a place called Pashto Pit beside the Bagnati River. Hindus and Buddhists believe in reincarnation, and bodies are cremated on the day of death by family members. There are many religious rituals which can pose a problem for new Christians still within their Hindu families. Tourists line up at Pashto Pit to watch these public cremations. Quite a spectacle, to say the least. We had 2 principal reasons for going on this trip. The first was to visit Tansen Hospital up in the hills, where there is a strong presence of PCI missionaries and where we were guests of Drs. Max Watson and his wife Dr. Alison Rogers. The hospital's motto is, "We serve, Jesus heals." Christian doctors first came into the area as bird watchers in 1951. They started treating local people and then in 1959 opened the hospital.
Every day in our clinic here in Tansen we would see 20 patients who present for the first time with tuberculosis. 20 new patients a day. I mean, that's unheard of at home, but that's a disease of poverty and people living right against each other, right close up against each other, spread throughout the community. It's all almost endemic here.
Hundreds of outpatients camp out at night in the hope of treatment. When we were there were 400 tickets issued each day at a cost of around 40 pence. No flashing lights on this ambulance, a very common sight near the hospital. People walk or are carried, often for days, to the hospital. The second reason for going on this trip was to have a holiday, including a short stay in Pokhara by the lake. The highlight was a dawn walk to watch sunrise on Fishtail in the Annapurna range, the 6th highest in the world, and for locals a place sacred to the god Shiva. The perfect finish was breakfast in the famous Fishtail Lodge, access to which is by raft or punt. And then there was the Royal Chitwan National Park, our last Nepali visit. Transport here was another highlight, and an early start for a dawn safari, this time by elephant. Indeed, we hoped to see a rhino, and sure enough, we did. And at the other end of the day, a truly beautiful sunset. From there it was on to India, to Agra. Here we enjoyed a one-day tour of Agra. There were just so many highlights. The train from Delhi to Agra, names and ages and gender stuck to the outside of the carriage. A traffic jam on the dual carriageway caused by Hindu holy men, sadhus. Taxis crossed the central reservation and drove into oncoming traffic to get past. Not the kind of traffic we were used to. Every conceivable means of transport, carts, bicycles, camels, carrying bananas, firewood, dung pats, you name it. Off the road, the joiner's workshop, with boys in bare feet. The deserted city, built in the 16th century. It took 15 years to build and was abandoned after 14 years because they ran out of water. Red Fort, really like a walled city. Again, 5 or more centuries old. For many years, the most important place in India. And then the Taj Mahal, a symbol of eternal love built by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his third wife, who died giving birth to their 14th child. It was started in the 1630s and took 22 years to build, using 22,000 men, built in marble and precious and semi-precious gems. And we had to cover our shoes. Symmetry is everything, although not all the towers are towers. Yes, this was our trip to the top of the world, and certainly a trip we will never, ever forget.